This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to CWK Live. This is, of course, where we can have some Star Wars fun, community, and conversation. I am your host, Dan Z, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. There we go. It's a little bit of dark there, but now we are all set. Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It was nice to have a week off, but I certainly missed all of you and missed having Coffee with Kenobi live, as we do every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So, Happy New Year 2022 to everyone. Let's see who all is here. We've got Minta, of course. This is the way. It's CWK Day. Hello, Minta. Hello, Ross. Good to have you, buddy. Merry Happy New Year to you. Happy Monday to everyone, of course. Tyler's here. What's up, man? It's great to have you back on the show. Colby is here. Hello, Colby. Happy New Year to you. Jason says, hello. Good to be back after a couple weeks off for the holidays. Yes, it is nice to be back. Getting back into the swing of things. Anthony is also here. Hey everyone, Happy New Year. So excited to chat about this excellent episode with you all. And Mary says, great Force Ghost conversation about the first Fett episode. Well, there you go. That's wonderful. I'd like to see that. And Daniel is here as well. Hello, Daniel. Mason wanted me to tell you hello. He is actually in the middle of listening to the third Harry Potter book, The Prisoner of Azkaban. This is his first go-round in the world of Gryffindor and Hufflepuff and Slytherin and Ravenclaw and everything involving Harry Potter. So he's really loving that. So Mason did give me his list, so I will share that with you, but he wanted to tell you all hello, and that he is busy listening to Harry Potter. LJ is here as well. Hello, LJ. LJ just had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, LJ. Hope it was everything you wanted and more, my friend. I know you got a birthday present from the Cincinnati Bengals, as did Mary. They certainly did well and have won their division. So we're going to go ahead and talk tonight about the premiere episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Oh, Tyler says Prisoner of Azkaban is the best one. Well, there you go. Brian, what's up, Brian? Good to have you. I love your shirt, of course. Looking good there, my friend. Great to have you back on the program today. Or tonight, I should say. So we're going to look again at your top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett, Stranger in a Strange Land. We're going to give our Star Wars New Year's resolutions and, of course, your comments and questions. Now, if you heard Coffee with Kenobi a couple of days ago, myself, Tom Gross, and Corey Clubb reviewed the first episode in a lot of detail, but tonight we're all going to chime in and share the top 5 moments that really spoke to us. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
All right, what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week is, well, I mean, we've got the debut episode, right, of the Book of Boba Fett. Everybody seems to be really liking the series so far. Brian says, I did my part to represent CWK when we were in Galaxy's Edge the week before Christmas. Awesome. Thanks, Brian. I felt your presence in the Force, my friend, spreading the good word at Galaxy's Edge. I mean, Galaxy's Edge, what a great place. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you there next year at Star Wars Celebration, because Galaxy's Edge is just across the street from where Celebration is going to be. Now, you may notice a few different things. Hopefully it's not too dark. We did some different things with the lighting. My son Peyton gave me some more great lights that I could use here, and then I took down the multicolor lights and put up some white ones to give it kind of a space feel. And of course we've got some Boba Fett decor back here in honor of the topic for today. All right, so what's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week is tomorrow. Oh, look at this. Anthony says, my brother-in-law is loving his copy of the Star Wars Encyclopedia and the Star Wars book. Dan, well, Anthony, that is great. Thank you for spreading the word, my friend. I saw a lot of you. I'm glad that he is enjoying it, by the way. I saw that a lot of you got the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia for Christmas. That's super cool. I love that. If you are in the Central Illinois area, speaking of the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia, we'll be having our first book signing on Saturday, January 15th. From 1 to 1:30, it will be an author Q&A with myself. And then from 1:30 to 3, I will be signing copies of the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia as well as the Star Wars book. So if you're there, I would love to see you. Say hello. We'll do a little chat at the beginning as well. And as you can see, there are a number of books available for purchase at the socially distanced event. LJ is promising that he might be there, so that would be amazing. Tyler's going to be there as well, which is super cool. Man, love it. Love seeing my people. Hopefully we'll see you, all of you. And hey, bring a friend too. Let's spread the word about what is going on. Let's see what else is going on. As you know, this summer, gosh, it's not next summer, it's this summer, since we're in 2022, we are going to have the the Galactic Star Cruiser, easy for me to say, in Walt Disney World. This summer, we won't be worried about that because we're all going to Celebration, or we're going to try to go to Celebration, or just take a while to save your money for this event. But the summer 2023, once we're able to get an exact date, we're going to set up so we can all go on the Star Cruiser together. Zach says he might be there. That would be great, Zach. Love to see you, man, for sure. Jason says as long as the weather is good, he'll be at the book signing. Looking forward to it. Well, that is wonderful news, Jason. That is tremendous. Oh, Ross is pick me up, LJ. Ooh, man. Wouldn't that be great? What a nice reunion that is going to be. It is kind of on the way, sort of. Oh, man. Well, this is good. I don't know if this is a threat or a promise, but either way, I'm very happy about it. It's wonderful. Anthony says the Star Cruiser is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Yeah, it really is. I can't wait to experience it for sure. You may have noticed that they have extended sort of the merchandise for the Book of Boba Fett. And every Wednesday, releasing new. Sorry, Tuesday, tomorrow. When you're a teacher and you're on break, everything gets screwed up as far as what day is what and all that stuff. But so tomorrow we'll get more merchandise about Boba Fett. Daniel says road trip to Illinois. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Speaking of awesome, tomorrow, this book, The Fallen Star, is going to be available everywhere from Claudia Gray. I posted a review of it on Coffee with Kenobi today. I took it on the social media as they were. Hello, James. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you had a happy new year and a Merry Christmas. So I'm not going to spoil the book. The review is, again, on coffeewithkenobi.com for you to check out. I will say that I love it. I love it. Now, all of these adult books, this is the beginning of Wave 3. They all are, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's great. The ensemble cast here, to me, it's kind of like a greatest hits. Some of the most awesome characters to me in the High Republic, and they're all together. And Claudia Gray wrote it, so you know it's going to be amazing. And by the way, the audiobook, Mark Thompson, of course, performed it, is out of this world spectacular. It is Harry Potter. Speaking of Harry Potter, Mason listened to the Harry Potter audiobook now, and it is just so good. The way he performs it, you would never know it's the same person voicing these many myriad characters, but it just ups the tension and the excitement of a very intense book. Anyway, I can't recommend the audiobook version of it highly enough either. Is that the third adult book already? Yes, it comes out tomorrow, Daniel, and it is awesome. If you want to look at a spoiler-free review, I have it on coffeewithkenobi.com for you. Paul is here too. Hello, Paul. Good to have you, buddy. Anthony says, can't wait to read The Fallen Star. My wife and I are just about caught up with all the High Republic texts. It's great. It's great. I mean, it's one of my favorites. I mean, this one and Charles Soule's and then Kevin Scott's are all great, but I don't know. It's hard to talk about it without spoiling it. So again, I will not. But this one is a page turner. I could not put it down. James says, I'm good. Just watched The Rise of Skywalker for the second time. I had some problems with the movie, but it's still a pretty good film. Good. You know, it's crazy to say. Mason and I realized this over break, but we haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker since it was in theaters. And I saw it 3 times in theaters. Mason saw it twice. We haven't seen it in a while, so I do need to revisit it. Daniel, the second book's pretty spectacular as well. Definitely read the second one before you read the third one, because a lot of the big emotional beats will be more powerful to you after you've read the second book. Ben's halfway through the audiobook of The Rising Storm. It's a great performance. Yeah, Mark Thompson is the man. He is definitely the man. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what everybody thinks about that. After the book comes out, people got a chance to read it, then we'll do more of an exploration of it here on live and on Coffee with Kenobi's regular episodes every Thursday as well. Well, we may as well just jump into our top 5 tonight. Top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett episode Stranger in a Strange Land. As we did with The Bad Batch, what I do is the day that it comes out, I post, hey, share your spoiler-free thoughts on the new episode, and I give 3 days for people to be able to watch it and catch up. And then 3 days later, I post, all right, time to chat it up. Let us know your spoiler-filled theories and thoughts about the Book of Boba Fett episode. That went really well. We got a ton of comments in the CWK Cafe. If you're not a member of the CWK Cafe, I think you really should consider it because we have some wonderful, wonderful Star Wars discussions. At our Facebook group at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/community, or just go to Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook page and you'll see CWK Cafe posts coming up. But it's family friendly, spoiler free, and we have a ton of fun talking Star Wars in I think a really good, healthy environment. There's no toxicity at all. It's just a great time. So be sure to join the cafe. If you haven't already, I think we've got 551 members, and I would love to get to 1,000 by the end of this year. So, hey, bring a friend with you to the cafe, and we'll be able to do that. So again, tonight, top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett, Stranger in a Strange Land. Overall, before we get to actually sharing our top 5s, I mean, I like the episode. You heard, if you listened to Coffee with Kenobi this week, you heard how I felt about it. I enjoyed it. Were there some things that didn't work or maybe perhaps not where I were hoping they would go? Yeah, of course. But that's okay. You know, I trust Jon Favreau and Robert Rodriguez and Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni. I trust they're going to tell a great story and a great narrative. So I'm okay not having all the answers. I'm definitely okay with that. So let's, I guess, jump into it. And at the end, if you want to just give overall thoughts on the episode, that would be great too. Again, I do think it's fair to wait and judge it fully until we actually seen everything, but let's just jump in, right? So number 5 for me is the Sarlacc escape. Look, I was very honest about this on Coffee with Kenobi last week. Look, I wanted more. I wanted the Sarlacc escape to last the whole episode. But for what we had was great. It was very claustrophobic, very powerful. Getting to actually see it happen and seeing it break out of the sand was tremendous. And when it was done, I was like, wow. But I wanted more. I wanted more. But again, what we got was awesome. It was awesome. So I put that at number 5. I guess in my heart of hearts, since I've been waiting since 1983 to see if that was going to happen or not, I want it to last a lot longer and really knock me out. But it's okay that it didn't, right? It's okay. It is what it is. I certainly want to be the person who had to tell that story because that's pretty powerful. Let's see what you all have right here. Brian's number 5, the fact that Boba has to fight literally for each and every ounce of respect / rank. He doesn't just jump to the top from his name alone, which I think is a surprise and maybe hard for some people, but I think that's cool, right? I think that's neat that it does take that he has to kind of earn his way up. I think that's neat. Mary says the music, wow, Ludwig just kills it again. Yeah, he did some of the music, right? He did the themes, but he's not doing the overall score. Am I right, Mary, about that? Did I read the credits correct? I don't know. Somebody feel free to correct me on that. Anthony, seeing Max Rebo alive, it warms my heart knowing my blue friend is still around. Playing the music he loves. I also enjoyed hearing the Latin interpretation of the Cantina theme. Now that was cool. That was cool. Do we know for sure that it is Max Rebo or just someone who looks like him, the same species? I know I'd like to think that it's Max Rebo. I think that would be cool. It was fun to see. Minta's number 5, Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect. I will never get tired of that line. I remember you bringing that up when we looked at the trailer, Minta. So yeah, I like that line as well. Ben's number 5, Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc pit. Nothing really surprising about it. Just cool to see how his survival instincts kick in. I guess the acid can't burn through Beskar. No, I guess it can't. Fortunately for him. Ross is number 5, the opening establishing shot, starting with a pan outside and transition to the empty halls of Jabba's palace. Oh, how things have changed. Yeah, it's so empty in there. I mean, it's kind of cold. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't very like warm and, empathetic in there anyway because Jabba was in charge. But yeah, I like that too. Number 5 for Jason, the makeup artistry. Great job creating a baked Boba Fett. Baked Boba Fett. Can you just see the gingerbread cookies for that, Jason? Daniel's number 5, the desert creature. It kind of reminds me of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Its demise was very reminiscent of how Jabba met his end. Ooh, that's cool. I hadn't thought about it. Well, yeah, of course, with the chains. Yeah, I agree. Love it. Love it. Number 5 for James. The flashback scenes I'm okay with. The week that Django killed not being shown in the flashback, I know a few people were upset about it not being there. It was nice to be reminded of where Boba came from. I hadn't seen that. I mean, I guess I don't always see a lot of the that kind of stuff. But yeah, there was no flashback of that, but that was okay. I've heard more people complaining that there was a stormtrooper in the Sarlacc pit, and to me, was I surprised? Yeah, but when they were looking around Tatooine for the Death Star plans, who knows where they were sent on Tatooine in A New Hope, and it's very possible that some of them may have stumbled into the Sarlacc pit. So who knows? We haven't had any official word on that, but that's just kind of how I put it together. Tyler's number 5 is the gift scene. I love the shots of him sitting on Jabba's throne. Yes, I like that too. That was super cool. Daniel says, wondering how he survived. Same here, man. I'd love to know. Zach's number 5, the shot alone in Jabba's palace gives me some Return of the Jedi vibes. Yeah, man. So cool to see. Ross, similar to what I had said earlier, he thinks that Ludwig did themes for the music, but someone else was a composer. I caught that as well. Paul's number 5, learning that the opening episode took place on Tatooine. Yes, which we kind of suspected, I guess, after seeing Mando. But yeah, since he's with Jabba. And I wonder if the whole series will take place on Tatooine. Paul, what do you think? Mason's number 5 was suiting up at the beginning. There's kind of a very Tony Stark situation where Boba Fett gets his helmet on. And Mason and I talked about this on the regular show. We had a blast. We actually stayed up till 2 a.m. to watch the whole thing. The whole story is there on Coffee with Kenobi last week. So when that happened, even though it was like a little after 2 in the morning, Mason goes, "Oh, I've got goosebumps. This is so cool." And it was cool. It's very epic. Very epic. Let's see. Ben says, I believe that Stormtrooper was just a previous Jabba visit or during the droid search. Opportunities are endless. Yeah, they really are. They really are endless. I kind of like the not knowing too. James, I was surprised none of the people who fell in the Sarlacc and Return of the Jedi were shown in the Sarlacc's stomach. Well, it's probably a pretty big stomach, I guess. A lot of room there. Josh is here. Hello, Josh. Welcome, my friend. He says the wreckage of Jabba's sail barge for his number 5. Very cool. All right. Well, this is the most I talked, I think, all Christmas break. Woof. How about that? Number 4 for me is seeing an RX series droid. Now, these are the droids. Rex is the droid that's in the cantina at Oga's at Galaxy's Edge. Also, Rex is the famous droid that pilots the original Star Tours. So then we see an RX series droid and also an R2 unit that's playing the drums, which, how great is that? I love that. It could have easily been like an honorable mention for me. So I don't know if that was Rex or not, but just seeing an RX series droid in a live action Star Wars, that was super cool to me. I like that droid series because of Disney World and Disneyland. So it was very cool to see it in the Book of Boba Fett. Anthony's number 4. 88 was absolutely hysterical to me. I wasn't aware that Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows voiced him upon first viewing. I like how through both Mando and Fett, so far background characters from the OT are getting their due. Yes, they are. Tyler's number 4. The Jawas. I really enjoyed how they roll up in the sandcrawler, rob Boba Fett, and then bail. Yeah, now, it drove me nuts. You may have heard this on the regular show last week. But the fact that they took the butt of a barrel and knocked him out, you just don't really see Jawas violent towards humans, like that kind of physicality. That kind of threw me for a loop, and I'm sure it did Boba Fett as well. I almost felt bad for him seeing him lose his armor, too. Number 4 for Minta. His escape from the Sarlacc pit was gratifying that we had some form of closure in how he survived. Yeah, I agree. And maybe we'll see more of it. Who knows? Ross is number 4. The gritty texture and Boba Fett's helmet green used to transition in and out of his flashbacks. I'll be interested to see if anyone else has a flashback during the series and if it is the same treatment / color. Well, that's a good catch, Ross. I didn't think about that. That's cool. Number 4 for Brian. Wrist rocket for the win. Yes. No disintegrations except for in Tatooine, right? Number 4 for Mary. The cantina scene, seeing all the different species of droids were all very cool. That was super cool. Jason's number 4. The Tuskens. The new look of the dark brown robes and more insight into their life and culture. Very cool. Yeah. The Tuskens are becoming quite enigmatic, I think, of all the different versions of them that we have. I'm going to turn a light here, see if it makes a difference. That's a little bit brighter. That's too bright. All right. Sorry, just a little bit behind the scenes stuff. Let's see. Ben, number 4. Boba earns the respect of the leader of the Tusken Raiders. Is that where he learned to lead with respect instead of fear? You know, that's an interesting idea, Ben. I like that. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but that's a very, very good theory, I'd say. James is number 4. Boba in the Bacta tank. It really reminds me of what Vader went through, especially the scene where the droids were putting Boba's armor on. Ooh, good comparison. I can't believe I didn't think of that. That's great. Number 4, the Tusken. You put love. I'm guessing you meant to say lore, but either way, I hear you, man. That's cool. Daniel's next one is Fennec's fight and the chase scene through the city. Great sets and action. Really puts her in her element. Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about Fennec later, perhaps, in the episode. I wish we could have gotten more of her, but maybe we will later in the series. Number 4 for Josh is Max Rebo. Amber is here. Hello, Amber. She says, number 4, seeing Amino with Slave 1 on it. I'm guessing that's what you meant to say. Oh, Camino. Yes, Camino. Seeing Camino with Slave 1. Yeah, that was awesome. Just like a really quick thing at the very beginning. I hope we get to see more of Camino. Tyler says the concept art. I love the concept art. I'm so glad that they're continuing that just like they did in Mando because it's breathtaking. James, I got to admit, I'm really surprised we got no flashbacks of Boba trying to kill Mace Windu in Clone Wars. He's so connected to Boba's past, especially with him killing his father. I wonder about that too. It's either going to come later or maybe he's moved on. I mean, clearly he didn't like Jedi for a long time. Maybe as he grew up, he made peace with it, but who knows? Who knows? That's an interesting idea, James, for sure. All right, so Tyler moved on to number 3. We'll get to that. Paul says, seeing the similarity in the staff used by the Tuskens, the one Boba used in the Mando series. I wonder if there is more to come after he earned the respect from the Tusken leader. Yeah, hard to believe that they're totally done with that, but maybe they are. I mean, maybe he's got more he's got to prove, but it's going to be fun to see. Yeah, autocorrect can be challenging, Amber. I definitely empathize with you there. Mason's number 4 was the arrival into the mayor's lair and all the denizens there as well. Unless Mace returns somehow as alive. Nah, no way. Love the Boba Dome behind you. So cool. Yeah, that's a Black Series Hasbro Boba Fett helmet that they sent me a couple of weeks ago. It's very cool. All right, number 3. Number 3, I put Desert Tussle. I guess what I mean by that is, I'm actually talking about at the end. Tussle is certainly sort of a playful term. But when he fights that creature, and I'm not sure what the creature's name is, maybe somebody else says, I haven't seen it on StarWars.com yet, so that's kind of what I'm waiting for. But that creature with 4 limbs that he fights and how he fights it, and just the build up to that and the suspense. And is that a crate dragon? What is that? And then it rises out of sand. There's a great battle. I just liked it. I thought that was a cool way to end it. And I know that some of the designs people aren't necessarily sure about, but I like it because it's very unique. Yes, it does look like Clash of Titans as an homage to the Ray Harryhausen stop motion stuff, but I thought it worked. I thought it was really cool. All right. Let's see. Ross, number 3. Literally in the belly of the beast, the pulsing sounds, Edgar Allan Poe style, and struggles against the innards of the Sarlacc. It's so cool seeing a stormtrooper there. No idea how it ended up there, but it is a symbolic reminder that even the Empire can be punished for crossing the Huts on Tatooine. Very good, Ross, as always. Anthony, he's in the minority. He says, I love the interaction with the mayor's major domo. Awkward conversations are one of the pillars of my comedic interests. This discussion led in that uncomfortable gray area, and I was just about falling out of my seat laughing. I hope he appears again. Oh, you know what? I liked that it was awkward, too, and I think it's supposed to be. Like, he was rude, he was dismissive, there were some unnatural pauses. That was by design. I thought it was really well done. And if you like awkward conversations, I hope you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's the best. Certainly not family friendly, but definitely the best. Brian's number 3 is the same as Mason's number 5. I enjoyed the first suit-up scene of Boba in his armor, just like the early Iron Man movies. Yes, same. And after he mentioned it, I'm like, oh, I should have put that in my top 5, but it's definitely in there in my honorable mention as well as in my heart. James number 3, flashbacks, a great way to tell a story within a story. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of flashbacks, Jason, in Star Wars historically, so I welcome it. I like it. Just to me, just because they haven't done it before doesn't mean they shouldn't, so I like that it happened. Mean to Boba versus the Tuskens, you could see from the get-go it was going to be an uphill battle with them. He was even bested by a Tusken youngling. I chuckled like a madman at that part. I think it's important, too, and I mentioned this on Coffee with Kenobi last week. I think it's important that he goes out of his way not to harm or do anything against when there's a youngling. I think that's very important. You know, if he did, I think he's all evil. You know, you can't hurt a child. That's just a given to a civilization. So the fact that he holds back from that stuff, I think that's important. I think they're going to explore that. I think it's going to be a very important theme. The desert creature, a love letter to Harryhausen's 20 million miles to Earth and Clash of Titans. Exactly. It was so cool. I like that too. That was my number 3. 3 for Daniel, the Sarlacc escape. Was waiting so long since the 80s to see that. Would have been nice to see more, but how long can we explore his stomach? You know, Daniel, that is right. You're right about that. How long can we possibly explore that? I don't know. And man, it was so good at making you feel claustrophobic. Tyler, what's up, Tyler? I love your background, man. He says the relationship between developing with Boba and the Sand People will be fun to see what happens with that. Paul says learning how the Jawas ended up with the armor. Yep, we got to see it from, besides Cobb Vanth telling the story, we got to see Boba's version. Zach, Boba's saving the day in a way, or maybe before Return of the Jedi, he wouldn't have saved the child. I feel like he actually cared for the Tusken child. Yeah, I hope they explore that. I wonder what that's going to be like. James, the four-armed creature that looked like Gora from Mortal Kombat. There you go. That's another good comparison. Number 3 for Mary. The scene with the Tuskens, and especially the interaction with the youngling, and then the fight with the four-armed creature. I'm thinking we'll continue to see the interactions with the Tuskens. Yeah, I think the Tuskens are going to be major characters, possibly. Anthony says Curb is one of his favorite shows. There you go. It's pretty great. Ben, why does it feel like a Trandoshan's paying you a compliment is still a threat? In general, I love the entire paying tribute scene. I liked it too. I like the pacing and the awkwardness and seeing different species there, Aqualish as well. I thought that was super cool. Number 3 for Mason. He loved the guard shield fight. He thought it was really cool. He liked the thrill of it and the chase scene in the city. So that was Mason's number 3. All right, let's go to number 2. James says, Amber's number 3. The droids putting on Boba's armor really was such a cool scene. It reminded me of Jeremy Bullock putting on the original white armor and under the helmet. Ooh, good comparison, Amber. That's cool. James says, all I can say is Boba's way different than Anakin around Tuskens, especially the kids. There's no doubt about that. Number 2 for me is the face-off. There's towards the end, Fett's about to escape, and the Tuskens pursue him, and then he's got a face-off between one of the Tusken elders, and it's very much a mano-a-mano samurai-style fight. He defeats Boba Fett. I think that if Boba Fett was rested and had his stuff, I think that it would be a much different confrontation, or at least would have been a little bit closer of a battle. But we got what we got, and Boba Fett is weakened now, so it makes sense that he wouldn't have won. I would have been disappointed if he did, to be honest. But I like that sort of that machismo mythological construct of these two warriors facing off in a desert with the natives watching along. I thought that was cool. All right, let's see what else we got. 2 for Josh. The closing credits music, it sounds like an old sea shanty. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I hadn't put my finger on that, but you're right. Too soon, always too soon, indeed. Anthony's 2, the duel with the Tusken leader was epic. It was rather reminiscent in my mind of a samurai fight. Exactly. It was quick, and typically the one whose moves first is the loser, which was Boba. I appreciate how Favreau and Filoni are not afraid to pull from the major Western samurai influences. I agree. I mentioned this again on the show, that it reminds me a lot of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, especially them being kind of trailing through the desert, being tied up. If you haven't seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, you got to see it. It's really, really good. Oh, looks like my video froze. Interesting. Well, hopefully I can unfreeze it and then you can all hear me. Let me try something else. Maybe I can get it to unfreeze. There we go. And let's try this. Interesting. All right. Can everybody see me moving now? Okay. I'm not sure why I paused like that, but I'm glad that's working again. Okay, Ross, number 2, the bad guys. Your choice of the mayor's major domo, the criminal shielded assassins offering a Fennec spotlight, or the gang tagging the homestead / moisture farm they stole water from. Mos Espa is not for a vacation. No, it isn't. Nothing in Tatooine speaks vacation to me. Let's see. Mary, Boba escaping the Sarlacc pit, punching up through the sand and all the gunk on him was great. It was awesome, wasn't it? Super cool. Tyler's number 2, the Sarlacc escape, pretty epic moment. Always good to see the flamethrower put to use. Thank goodness he had that thing on. I can't imagine the endurance it would have taken to crawl out of that thing. Speaking of, Jason's number 2 is also the same. Boba breakout from the Sarlacc, very nasty and traumatic. I really enjoyed finally seeing how it happens. I wonder if I'll have some PTSD from that. Number 2 for Zach. The prequel love. I feel that it started with Mando with the Trade Federation, and then there's the scene in Geonosis. Yeah, definitely. I mean, to see Fennec in action, she still has what it takes, and I hope we get to see more from her. Yeah, I do too, and you may have heard me talking about this. I feel like she got shortchanged. I want to see more of Fennec, for sure. I mean, I know it's not her story, but it is her story to a degree, so I hope we get to see more of her besides her just being tough. Tyler's number 2, Boba refusing to be like the Hutts. In other words, not staying hidden in the palace or being carried through the city. I think that's important too. Paul, Putting the dog to sleep and petting it afterwards shows he isn't a monster. Yes, agree. That's important. Treating animals is important. Brian's number 2, Jabba's empty palace. Totally different vibe from our intro to the palace in Jedi. The first time we see Boba in the Bacta tank reminded me of the inside of Dryden Voss's ship. Oh, yeah, good connection. Ross said he could hear me still good. I'm not sure why it froze up, but I'm glad we're doing okay. James, seeing Mos Espa again, especially after its first appearance in the Phantom Menace. Maybe we could see Watto again. Now that would be awesome. Number 2 for Ben, the desert fight with the monster. But I will say, there needs to be a little more love for Rhodians. They barely get a minute of screen time before meeting their end. Well, there was a Rhodian in this one for a long time. But I know what you're saying. That Rhodian was not my favorite Rhodian. He was kind of a knucklehead, wasn't he? Number 2 for Daniel, the opening scene took me right back to the Jedi chill moment. The palace, the stairs Luke walked down, and oh yeah, the Rancor pit floor, great, and the throne. Anyone else notice C-3PO's head on it? Oh really? No, I didn't see that. And did you all? Daniel, you probably felt the same way. When we see everyone or Boba or anybody walking across that grate where the Rancor pit was, don't you kind of like, kind of clench a little bit, thinking, oh no, is there another Rancor down there? A new one? Let's see. But no, I didn't see 3PO. I'll have to check that. Amber's number 2, Boba Fett coming out of the Sarlacc. I'm glad they did that early in the first episode so fans wouldn't be annoying about it. Well, yeah, I wonder how they would do that too. Ross says it was a narc Rhodian. It was. Ben says he was a knucklehead. I wasn't heartbroken to see him go, especially after he gave Boba Fett away. Yeah, right? It was his best chance. And the fact that Fett actually wanted to help him escape. Like, do you want me to cut your bonds? Like he actually asked, do you want me to help you? I thought that was cool. I thought that was kind of like a sort of a manly, like a respectful way. Hey, there's no dishonor in me freeing you. Do you want me to be freed or you want to try to get it on your own, man? It's up to you. The Rhodian did not. Eventually he met quite a nasty end. And Amber, back to what you said, I agree with that. Part of me thought we would be hearing about a lot if it wasn't shown right away, so we got it right off the bat. So there's no confusion about when are we going to see it, are we going to see it. We saw it right away, so we can just move on, and I'm sure that was part of the decision for the storytelling. At least that's just my assumption on that. But we need to get to number 1. Let's talk about the number 1 moment from Stranger in a Strange Land, shall we? Number 1 for me, the flashback device. Just the fact that they're using a flashback device again, as I mentioned, is important because Star Wars has not historically done that before, and it worked. And I love that we're seeing it in, I'm assuming, a back to tank, and ties into him the fact reminding us very directly that he is a clone. He is a clone. And perhaps this is how clones specifically heal too. And yes, back to would heal anybody, but I feel like the fact that it's happening with them kind of shows me that maybe clones are more susceptible to it, or I don't really know what it means, but I think it's important. And I'm glad that they specifically point that out and remind us again of that connection. I didn't give Mason's number 2. Mason's number 2 is flashbacks, the same as my number 1. Mason's number 1 is the monster, by the way. The actual monster that we've been talking about. All right, let's see what everybody else's number 1 is. One for Paul, seeing the tie into episode 4 with the attack on Luke's uncle's house. Yeah, I think that was Luke's uncle's house too. Someone else moved in, perhaps, but I thought that was neat. Kind of takes your breath away a little bit. Number 1 for Mary Fennec. Shan, loved seeing her battling the attackers, tossing the one guy over the side of the roof. Was great. Just needs to have one of them alive, I guess, but she's going to be a great counselor for Boba. Yeah, I like how they kind of work off of one another. For sure, Mary. Thank you for sharing. Number 1 for Ross. Boba passing the trials of the Tuscans. They respect warriors, and he always carried himself as one, even when losing fights or winning and not caring about credit. He earns his sacred drink. Yes, he does. I want to know what the deal is with those drinks, too. Those little desert canteens that are growing in the desert, or whatever is the deal with that. Meantime, surprised no one mentioned this, but I was relieved that he spared Jabba's Gamorrean guards. The decision actually saved him from getting killed from Crimson guards, thus proving their loyalty to him. I thought that was important, so I'm glad that you brought that up, Mita, because it's certainly important. Daniel, rude Rhodian, he may have had his reasons, but no telling how long he's been with the tribe. That's true, and maybe he was just as scared of Boba Fett as anything else. Anthony's number 1. Best part was seeing Boba within the Sarlacc and learning how he escaped. I am perfectly satisfied with the depiction of the event. It shows the struggles that left Boba scarred, definitely scarred, not scared, and the predicament where we find him with the flashbacks. Let's see what else. He says, I think the story was a tight needle to thread, so many people have created their headcanon for the scene for almost 40 years. I agree. Like, it's impossible to live up to sort of our expectations of a key event. It's impossible. So, God bless them for doing what they did. Josh's number one is, I'll walk on my own 2 feet. I like that line too, Josh. That's in my honorable mention. Zach, the suit up. Hoping we see more of that and makes the palace so much bigger than it was in him making it his own, which is cool. James, Boba's escape from the Sarlacc. Very great way to open the show, and it shows how much of a bad guy, how bad it is. Sorry. You know what Boba is. Yeah. Boba's tough. I wanted to see more of that. Amber's number one, Max Rebo. I'm such a Max Rebo fan. So glad he survived. That was great. Hoping it is actually Max Rebo himself. Tyler's number one, Fennec Shan. Anything she does is great. She could easily steal this series. I'd be fine with that. I'd be totally fine with that. Jason's number one, Boba's intensity, his strength and fortitude enduring all the hardships on Tatooine, the look in his eyes when he's in hand-to-hand combat, and Tamir Morrison's excellent delivery of Boba's lines. I especially enjoyed how he sounds sinister even when he's making jokes. He does have a great voice, doesn't he? Good call. Tyler's number one, the visuals. This looks and feels like a high-budget Boba Fett movie so far. Oh, cool. I'm glad that it's working for you, my friend. Number one for Ben, Boba refuses a grand entrance in Mos Espa. He's proven he will be a different crime lord. That alone has piqued my interest in Fett's story. Yeah, I like that he doesn't care about that stuff, too. Oh, Blake, what's up, man? I'll watch Monday Night Football. Hello from my local sports bar. Love y'all. Just saying hi. May the force be with you. Yeah, you too, man. Be sure to catch the replay because I want to hear what you think about Fett. Be sure to give your top 5 in the cafe, my friend. Number one for Brian. The escape from the Sarlacc was the most singular question I had for the whole series. Let's see. And they drop it in the first few minutes. I wish there was way more detail, but we'll take what they give us. Yep, same here. Same here, man. Daniel, absolutely in love with the Tuscan textile costumes. So much more blacks and reds incorporate. Really drives home. There are different tribes for their dress and trinkets. Every time we see a new costume in Star Wars production, that means it opens it up for cosplay. Exactly. And I hope, Daniel, that you get a chance to make one of those. That would be cool. Yeah, Amber says that would stink if it was another one of his kind for Max Rebo. Yeah, I mean, I clear that everybody wants to think it's Max Rebo. I want to think it's Max Rebo. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully we will find out. James, still so odd to me, not sure anybody else, but Boba's being played by the same guy who played Django. It's crazy, right? But it's so cool because of the clone thing. It's just great how neat that they're doing that. Ben says, Jason, just noticed the Red Wings hat in your profile picture. Good to find another fellow fan. There you go. Brian says, drink some blue milk for us all, Blake. Yeah, man. Have fun, Blake. I don't even know who's playing tonight because the Bears, they did beat the Giants. Sorry, Lou Mangello. But, the season's obviously over. But I'm still having fun. We're having fun watching the NFL. It'll be fun to watch the playoffs. And by the way, unrelated to anything, I think the NFL season's too long. 18 games or 18 weeks too long. But that's neither here nor there. Well, very good, everybody. It was great to have all of your top 5s next week, of course. Easy to know what the top 5s are going to be when we've got a series to talk about. But we've got your top 5, the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 2 moments, whatever the title will be. But you can bet we'll be discussing it here on CWK Live as well as on Coffee with Kenobi. Again, last week, it came out. So the show came out Wednesday, and then Thursday we did our review of the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 1. So be looking for a detailed discussion of the second episode next week. And then, of course, back here on Monday for all of us can share. Now, again, I love how this works out because we all get to talk. And like when you're on the show and I'm sharing your comments, there's so many people that are hearing what you have to say. Your voice, friends, is being heard across the Star Wars community. So thank you for joining me each and every week. We've gotten a lot of people tonight. I hope that every week you continue to show up and bring friends with you because we really want to grow this community. Everybody has a voice. Speaking of community, if you really want to support me and Coffee with Kenobi even more, join the CWK Alliance. One of the things you get is access to CWK Pro, an exclusive weekly audio and video podcast, depending how you choose to contribute. But we did our top 5 Spider-Man moments. Boy, do we have fun doing that. Now, full disclosure, we recorded this before we saw Spider-Man No Way Home, so there are 0 spoilers for the new movie. We will certainly be reviewing the actual movie very soon. But this was when we talked about comics and pop culture and previous cinematic Spider-Man experiences. But nothing from No Way Home, just good old-fashioned Spider-Man moments. So be sure to check that out. If you want to learn more, join the CWK Alliance. You can hear CWK pour over. Then all you need to do is go to join the CWK Alliance at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. Alex, what's up, man? No reason to be sorry. We understand family first, of course. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, my friend. Tyler says he's planning on doing his top 5 spotty moments this week. Great. If you're in the CWK Alliance, we also have an exclusive private Facebook group there to share our non-Star Wars conversations and Star Wars ones as well. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. So Ben wants to know what's football. Yes, the NFL, National Football League, American football. Amber says like soccer. Not exactly like soccer. James says, would you like to see a cameo appearance of Watto and Rada, a.k.a. Jabba's son from the Clone Wars in the show? Like his son returns to claim his father's palace? That would be awesome. Yeah, I would love it. I think that would be really fun to see. Alex says, I can't wait to rewatch everybody's top 5. Yeah, it was fun, Alex. We certainly missed you. Be sure to put your top 5 in the cafe as well. Will I adopt another team for the playoffs? Well, I mean, Mason loves the Chiefs, and I just like watching good football. So I'll just watch every game. I'm certainly have someone I pick for each one. I'd love to see Tom Brady go again just because I think greatness should always be celebrated. But there's a lot of them I'm certainly pulling for. There's nobody I'm really pulling against except, of course, for the Green Bay Packers because I'm a Bears fan. So Star Wars-based New Year's resolutions, that's actually one of the things we're going to talk about. In fact, I'll shift the screen a little bit. What's me and Mason's Hogwarts house? Well, I'm Gryffindor. I'm assuming he's Gryffindor too. We haven't talked about that, but that's a good question, Tyler. I will ask him. Anthony said, go Eagles. Do yourself a favor and join the CWK Alliance, right? LJ, yeah, I would love to have you in the CWK Alliance. It's a great way to support me and the show. 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital every month. And you just get some extra content that you don't get anywhere else. And we have a lot of laughs, for sure. A ton of laughs. So, Star Wars New Year's resolutions. So, New Year's resolutions are great if you stick to them, right? If you make a plan to better yourself, that is a resolution. New Year's resolutions, right? So, I think for me, like we make resolutions, we make plans for our family. Mason joined us this year to do that, and one of the things that I said is I want to. Of course, I'll be reading all the Star Wars books as they come out, but one of my Star Wars resolutions is to read books that aren't Star Wars related because I want to expand my palette, right? So, yes, you want to read Star Wars because we love this community and we love this franchise and this mythology, but I want to make sure that at least once a quarter, I read something non-Star Wars related, just kind of keep myself out in the open to other things. So that's one of my Star Wars resolutions is to do extra things that are not Star Wars related. What Star Wars resolutions do you have? Or what resolutions do you have that you want to share? Paul said Boba Fett ship wasn't in the first episode, just on Camino on the platform for like 2 seconds in a flashback. Do you think it'll be referred to by its original name or the new one? I don't know that we're going to see that old name again. Again, I don't have any official news on that, but I don't know. I would love to see a new name for it. I guess we'll find out. Ben, what was my favorite Christmas gift and what was Mason's favorite? Well, Mason got a lot of cool stuff. One of the things he got was Slappy from Goosebumps, the ventriloquist dummy. So we actually got a ventriloquist dummy from Santa, and wow, he's good with it too, by the way. I got some great Christmas gifts. I got some great clothes and some cologne and things like that. I had so much fun with my family on Christmas. Had a blast. I hope you did as well, Ben. Well, I'll be doing a top 5 of No Way Home. Great episode last week on Prover. Yes, we're going to review No Way Home for sure, Alex. I don't know if it'll be a top 5 or not, but we're definitely going to review it. That's good. Ross says, read The Secret History of Donna Tartt. You'll love it. Okay. Noted, Ross. Noted. Daniel says, what part of the character book did you contribute to? A certain section, I believe you mentioned, but I can't remember. I'm halfway through it. Yep. Daniel, happy to share. I contributed to 95, 96, 97% of the Mandalorian characters and a couple of other characters that were random too. But if there's a Mandalorian character in the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia, then yes, that you could pretty much, the odds are pretty high that I contributed to that. Ben's reading the new Story of Marvel Studios book that was released. Just a lot of mentions of Star Wars in it. Feige is a fan. Yes, he is. That's cool, Ben. I'd like to see that. Maybe get it from my library. I don't really want to get Paul McCartney's new book as well. Anthony plans to watch a lot of movies and inspired Star Wars, such as Seven Samurai, The Searchers, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yes, that's a great Star Wars resolution. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is great. Highly recommend it. Amber says that your creation is creepy. It is. That slappy thing is creepy. Jason's Star Wars resolution is to read all the Star Wars books I got for Christmas and rewatch the Skywalker saga films. I like it. What books did you get? Actually, you posted it in the cafe, so now I remember. Brian, out of the 4 options at Savvy's Workshop, which lightsaber build is your favorite? I built Peace and Justice. We were there a few weeks ago. That's the one I built too, for sure, Brian. I love that one. I like they're all cool. I think the Knowledge and Defense is a pretty neat one too. Mason built the Sith one just because it was a cool looking design. But they're really nice, aren't they? I think Savvy's Workshop is about as good as it gets as far as Star Wars experiences go. And you get a lightsaber that you built, so there's really nothing better than that, for sure. All right. Any other Star Wars resolutions if you love? I think I need to rewatch The Rise of Skywalker again. I haven't watched it again since it came out. I think I need to give it another chance. So that might be one on there. Alex wants to know what kind of toys does Mason like? Legos or action figures? He likes Legos. He likes action figures. He likes Nerf guns. He thinks those are fun. He's huge into sports. We play a lot of football. Even when it's cold out, we play football outside and baseball and stuff like that. Good question, Alex. Tyler, my Star Wars resolution is to emulate Qui-Gon and do things my own way in life. Don't let others pull me in certain directions. That's great. What a great Star Wars resolution, Tyler. Brilliant. That is fantastic. Emulating Qui-Gon Jinn. You can do a lot worse. He's a good man. He's a maverick, but he does things the right way, but he does things his way. And not because he's trying to ruffle feathers, but because he believes in a different course of action. That is so good, Tyler. I love that. I love that. All right, everybody. Well, be sure, if you have a Star Wars resolution, I will post a place in the CWK Cafe for you to share what your Star Wars resolution is. Tyler says, just finished High Republic Into the Dark. It was so good. Which is the favorite? Which High Republic book is your favorite? Well, I don't know. Into the Dark is great, but Claudia's new book, which comes out tomorrow, Fallen Star, is tremendously good. Light of the Jedi is great. Cavan's book is so good. Man, they're good. They're just you really can't find a bad one, can you? Mary says, have a great week. Yes, Mary, you too. Thanks for joining me, of course, my friend. Ross says, cheers, friends. Have a great week and enjoy chapter 2. Likewise, buddy. Daniel says, your focus determines your reality. Exactly, Daniel. Take care, everyone. See you next week. Anthony, thanks for joining us. Thank you all for joining us again. And what a wonderful group of you that showed up tonight. It was really a pleasure to share the evening with you, talking Star Wars and the Book of Boba Fett. Jason, have a great week. So good to be with you all. Yes, definitely, man. Amber, may the Force be with you. Colby, see you later, man. CWK family forever. 2 days until episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. That's right, Tyler. Thanks again. Great to have you back on the show, brother. Really nice to chat with you. Minta's rewatch the Star Wars movies will be a Star Wars resolution. It's a great one, Minta. Let us know how it goes. Alex, glad you were able to join us as well. Good night. Paul, Mason says hi to Jonah as well. Ben, take care, and we will see you all next week and later this week. Be sure to check your podcast catchers for an in-depth review of the second chapter of the Book of Boba Fett, followed next Monday by us talking about it here on CWK Live. Daniel, will see you in the cafe. Meantime, may the Force be with you. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night, and remember, this is a podcast you're looking for. See you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.